Your mind is an amazing mechanism. When your mind works in a certain way, it can lead you to amazing success. But that same mind, if it functions in a different way, can produce complete failure. The mind is the most delicate, sensitive instrument of all creation. So let's see what makes the mind think the way it does. Millions of people are aware of nutrition. We are a calorie counting nation. We spend millions of dollars on vitamins, minerals and other nutrition supplements. And we all know why. From nutrition research, we have learned that the body is the result of nutrition. Physical endurance, resistance to diseases, weight and even lifespan are related to what we eat. The body is the result of nutrition. In the same direction, the mind is the result of mental food. Of course, mind food isn't packaged and you can't buy it in a store. Mental food is your environment. All the things that influence your conscious and subconscious thought. The type of mental food we ingest determines our habits, attitudes and character. Each of us has inherited a certain ability for development, but how much we have developed from that ability and in what way we have developed it depends on the type of mental food we ingest. The mind is the result of the food received from the environment, just as the body is the result of food we give it. Have you ever thought about what kind of person you would be if you were raised in another country? What kind of food would you prefer? Would your clothing preferences be the same? What kind of entertainment would you like the most? What would you do? Which religion would you belong to? Of course, you cannot be sure of the answers to these questions. You would certainly be a fundamentally different person if you grew up in another country. So why is that? Because you would have been influenced by a different environment. As the saying goes, you are a product of your environment. So remember this, it's the environment that shapes us, influences our thinking. Try to name at least one habit or a character trait that you possess that you haven't picked up from another person. Relatively small things like the way we walk, cough, hold a cup, our choice of music, literature, entertainment, clothes, all of them, to a large extent, are taken from someone else. And more importantly, your way of thinking, your goals, attitudes, your personal character are also formed by your environment. Long-term contacts with negative people makes us think negative. On the bright side, socializing with people with big ideas raises the levels of our thinking. Close contact with ambitious people gives us ambition. Experts agree that the person you are today, your character, your ambitions, your current position in life are largely the result of your psychological environment. And the person you will be in 1, 5, 10 or 20 years depends almost entirely on your future environment. It is known that you will change over the months and years, but how you change depends on your future environment and the mental food you ingest. So, let's see what we can do to make our future environment bring us satisfaction and prosperity. You need to redirect yourself towards success, my friend. The number one obstacle on the road to great success is the feeling that major achievements are out of our reach. This paragraph comes from a number of repressive forces that direct our thinking towards average levels. To understand these repressive forces, let's go back to when we were children. As children, we all set high goals. At surprisingly young age, we made plans to conquer the unknown, to be leaders, to reach important positions, to do exciting things, to become rich and famous. In short, to be the first, the biggest, the best. And in our blissful ignorance, we see our path open to achieving these goals. But what is happening? Long before we reach the age when we can begin to work towards the realization of our great goals, we have been exposed to many repressive influences. We have heard from all sides that it is foolish to dream, that you must have money to travel, luck determines who will get ahead, or that you must have influential friends, or that you are too old or too young. As a result of the propaganda, you cannot get ahead, so don't try it. People can be classified into three groups. The first group, those who have completely surrendered. Most people are convinced deep down that they don't have what it takes to achieve real success. That real achievements are for others who are lucky in some particular areas. You can easily spot these people because they spend a long time trying to justify their status and show how happy they really are. And I mean happy. A very intelligent man, 34 years old, who stuck himself in a secure but average position, recently spent several hours convincing me why he is so happy with his job. He was making good excuses, but he was only deceiving himself and he was aware of it. What he really wanted was to work in a challenging situation where he could grow and develop, but multiple of repressive influences convinced him that he was not good enough for great things. The second group are those who partially surrendered. The second but much smaller group enters adult life with considerable hope for success. These people prepare themselves, they work, they are planning, but after a decade, resistance is starting to emerge, and the competition for the top jobs seems scary. This group decides that the greater success is not worth the effort. They think, we earn more than the average and live better than the average, so why quit work? In fact, this group has developed a series of fears. Fear of failure, fear of insecurity, and fear of losing what they already have. These people are not satisfied because deep down they know they have given up. This group includes very talented, intelligent people who choose to crawl through life because they are afraid to stand up and run. And the last and the third group, those who never surrendered. This group, which rises only 2 or 3%, does not allow pessimism to dictate, does not believe in surrendering to repressive forces, does not believe in creeping. Instead, these people breathe and live with success. This group is the happiest because it achieves the most. These people become top salespeople, top managers, top leaders in their fields. These people believe that life is stimulating and rewarding and that it is worth the effort. Let's be honest, we all want to belong in the third group, the group that experiences greater success every year, the group that achieves results in their work. But to come and stay in this group, we have to reject the repressive influences of our environment. The people from the first and second groups unconsciously will try to hold you back. For example, go to a few of your average friends and say, one day I'm going to be the vice president of this company. What do you think will happen? Your friends will probably think you're joking. Behind your back, they will even wonder if you're crazy. Now suppose you repeated the same statement to the president of the company. How would he react? One thing is certain, he will not laugh. He will look at you carefully and ask himself, does this person really mean this? But he won't laugh, because great people don't laugh at great ideas. Or let's say you tell some average people that you plan to own an expensive home. They may laugh at you because they think it's impossible. But tell your plan to someone who already lives in a luxury home, and they won't be surprised. They know it is not impossible because they already have done it. So remember, people who tell you something is impossible almost always fail. At best they are ordinary or average in achievements. The opinions of such people can be poisonous. Develop a defense system against people who want to convince you that you can't do a certain thing. Accept negative advice only as a challenge to prove that you can get there. Be especially careful about this. Don't let negative thinking people, the naysayers, destroy your plan for success. Naysayers are everywhere. They seem to enjoy sabotaging the positive progress of others. I had this friend, the type of friend who would lend you a little money when you needed it or help you in countless small ways. Despite this good loyalty, he 100% had a sarcastic and bitter attitude towards life, the future, the possibility. He always said, Philip, there are only 3 ways to make money today. The first is to marry a rich woman. The second is to steal the clean legal way. Or the third, to know the right people or someone with great influence. He was always ready to defend this formula with examples. Sticking to that one of thousands of labor leaders who had embezzled a bunch of money from the union fund and gotten away with it. He heard about a rare marriage between a fruit picker and Mrs. Millionaire. And he knew someone who in turn knew an important man who got him involved into a big deal that would make him rich. Fortunately, one evening after a long discussion with this guy, I got it. It became clear to me that I was hearing the voice of failure. It seemed to me that he talked more to convince himself that he would convert me to his way of thinking. From then on, I looked at it as a learning object. Instead of accepting what he says, I studied him, trying to understand why he thinks in such a way and where such thinking will take him. So now he works as a poorly paid technical draftsman and has 4 children, and his income is barely making it to the end of the month. He had the mind to earn 5 times as much if he only knew how to use it. Naysayers are everywhere. Some of them, like the one who almost tripped me up, are well-intentioned people, but others are jealous. Because they're not progressing themselves, they want you to trip up too. So they want to make you an average person. Be careful with those people. Learn the negators. Don't let them ruin your dreams about success. Also, don't let yourself miss the next gem. This hidden Eastern egg of a video that I prepared for you, full with datasets to boost your success. So watch it and you will thank me later, my friend.